Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another late edition of the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. I'm your host, Dee.
This is Juice.
Yeah. Man, and I said the word late because we've been, like 3 months late now? I mean, I don't even know when our last cast was.
I don't even want to think about it, man. It's been a while, yo.
We don't have to harp on it, you know what I mean? It's been a while, you know, glad to be back.
We missed you.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I guess without further ado, let's get into it. And I guess I
want to note, like, this is episode 11, you know, of the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. So,
man, hey, welcome back.
11, man. We're in the double digits officially.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, moving on.
God damn, man. I mean, it's been too long, man. It really has, man. I kind of missed it because it's like a release for me. You know what I mean? To, you know, talk about certain issues and like just you know, get an opinion out there and
get out and address the world. You know?
Yeah, something kind of a creative endeavor. You know, I mean, like you were saying, you know, with that book you were reading, you know, when you create, you kind of you feel better about yourself and I don't know what you're putting out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
like
creative aspect.
It forms a connection for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You ever look into getting the book yet?
No, I didn't get it yet. But
I'm telling you, man.
I need to. I know.
The audiobook is
War
cool.
of Art. Yeah.
The audiobook is cool. The War of Art, man.
I swear you should be getting paid for that joke because you've been name dropping that book by every cast and like hyping that joke up. Like
Steven
it has to be good because
War of Art.
It has to be good. Yeah, I guess the elephant in the room is we have a new president-elect, people.
Man.
Oh man.
So the beginning of the end of the world began last Tuesday.
The beginning of the end of the beginning of the end. Damn.
Of the end.
Donald Trump, president-elect of the United States of America.
How
did we get here? I mean,
I can't even say it, man. Like,
honestly, we were talking pre-cast.
Hashtag he not my president.
The hashtag he not my president.
Not my president, man.
But, you know, I never really thought that he would actually be elected. I thought that he was just there to kind of put on a show and bring ratings and a level of enthusiasm to the election process. And I guess the way that he kind of gained traction and steam over the last year of campaigning, you know, maybe people, you know, want change more than the establishment realizes, you know.
Yeah. Like, dude, so definitely more than the establishment realizes. I feel like not only you, I also didn't think that he would have been elected, you know? Like, I always felt like, okay, look, the establishment is establishment. If the establishment was going to work in any way by winning a vote by electoral college, it would be through, like, this will be the time the establishment would use their power. Mm-hmm. They would be like, we're going to shove this over to Hillary. She got this. She's establishment. He's too much of a wild card. But it worked completely opposite, right?
Completely.
So, and that's kind of what blows my mind, right? Like, I would have been less shocked if Donald Trump won the popular vote and Hillary won by electoral college. I would have been less shocked, and I would have said, that's kind of messed up. That's definitely messed up, but hey, you get what you get. But the complete opposite thing happened, and that's kind of the craziest thing about this.
You know what, man? We were talking like pre-cast, like, and you know, I was telling you that I looked up. Obviously, as interest in Donald Trump grew from his from this whole election process, I looked up, you know, videos, articles on Donald Trump's lifestyle and the way that he lives, and he's been in the public eye as a businessman for, I mean, guys, our whole lifetime.
Yeah,
our whole lifetime. I mean, they had pictures of him
in the 80s, man,
early 80s, 70s with nice cars, and you know, so he was a
legitimate like playboy. Like he was known as a playboy for the longest. Like when we were like fucking 2 and 3 years old. Like
I mean, you got Trump towers everywhere. I mean, Atlantic City, Trump Casino and Hotel, and I mean, so he's been in the eye for a minute. And you know, of course, you look at videos of his net worth and his lifestyle and the cars that he has, and you know, the yachts, and he owns 3-4 helicopters, and just, you know, and I got to thinking to myself, man, is it good for us to have such a I don't want to say superficial, but that's kind of what it is. Such a decadent man as president. You know what I mean?
Superficial seems right.
Because he doesn't represent, as we were saying pre-cast, he doesn't represent the working class of people. Donald J. Trump's never had to work hard, at least not, physically.
If anybody, he represents the 1% that people are like our general society is fighting against, right? So he, if anybody, he represents the 1%. He doesn't understand the life of a person who works 9 to 5
because he hasn't had to live that life
or 8 hours a day.
So all these people who voted Donald J. Trump in, popular or electoral, even though I don't understand how each state is given a certain number of electoral votes based on population, right?
Right.
And you have some states that vote one way all the time. You have states that swing back and forth between the parties, such as swing states. And we got, we just watched a little refresher video on the Electoral College before the cast.
Thank you, TED Talks.
Yeah, that was actually cool. I learned a lot from that little 5-minute video.
I'm telling you, TED Talks is shit, man.
So I want to know how the Electoral College members, how are they swayed? Yeah, how did they decide who is president? I mean, can they be bought? Can they? I guess not, because maybe then they would have bought it for Hillary.
I think for the most part, nobody knows who they are, right?
So that's the whole point. It's anonymity. Am I saying that right? Anonymity. Synonymity. Synonymity. So yeah, I guess that's the whole point for them to remain anonymous, right? But so then how the hell are they chosen? Like this more about this Electoral College process needs to be revealed and publicized. It
definitely needs to be publicized. So I'm dealing with online. I'm dealing with in groups of pro-black, groups, and this is one thing that always gets me. They always don't bother voting because it's never gonna matter. And when you have a situation, an election like this, where Hillary wins the vote by a million plus people, and still loses the election, all that does is reinforce the stereotype, right? That it doesn't matter, don't bother voting, your vote's never gonna matter. Well, if you don't, they need to explain it. And if you even take 5 minutes to watch that TED Talk video we watched, you do get a small understanding of why the Electoral College exists, right? And it breaks it down as to kind of make the smaller states with less population, with the smaller population, makes their votes actually matter to a degree.
Have an equal playing field.
In that regard, I'm okay with that. That makes sense to me, right? But when you have people that don't look at that or don't even take the time to research and just hear, oh, it doesn't matter, your vote will never change anything, then you promote this culture. It was don't bother trying to change your government.
So do
and that just sets you up for losing. I mean, honestly,
do popular votes influence electoral votes? I guess the whole point is for them to remain anonymous, because you wouldn't want people knowing who they are. You wouldn't want this person would be vilified. You know what I mean? Of this, however many
that's a good question.
Electoral voters come from any one state, that person would be crucified. I mean, if they found out you were going to be the final decision maker for the president of the United States,
and you decided to go for Trump,
exactly. They'd run you out of town. They'd harass your kids.
So you have one job.
Exactly. They be coming getting threatened and bribed, and people would threaten them, say, "Hey man, if you don't vote this way, your family's dead." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I guess maybe the point is for them to remain anonymous, but
at the same time, it would make more sense. At least if we can know how they was chosen, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of being I don't want the same electoral person that voted a certain way 4 years ago to vote to be in the Electoral College.
Yeah.
I won't want to be a new person every Electoral College, right? Yeah. But honestly, I don't know. I can't.
Is it a new person every election cycle?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope so, but if it is, and that's another issue that should be addressed.
But the thing is, people aren't going to care about the Electoral College until another 4 years from now.
That's the problem.
And that's look, me personally, I didn't vote. Okay, I'm not one of those people to say don't vote because it's not going to matter.
Shame on you.
For me personally. Tuesday was a regular day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, got off work, went home, dropped my son off at school, went back home, caught a nap, went picked my son up, did his homework, whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm back at work the next night. So I I'm not one of those people to say don't vote though. I mean, matter of fact, my good friend Corey, man, and shout out to them, Live Evolution, signed to myself, everything like that, liveevolution.com. He put a post on Facebook that said, man, you live in this country, you work here, you pay taxes here, and you don't vote? It's like, what's going on? And I'm like, yes, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Like, I work here, I pay taxes and all that, but no, I didn't vote. And think about the large majority of people, millions of people that did not vote. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So this is the largest, or one of the larger non-voter turnouts. Mm-hmm. Or I guess I can't say turnout, but this is one of the larger non-voter populations. So a lot of people didn't really vote in this election.
Nobody really felt inspired, I don't think, to really go out. I mean,
I voted this year, and I tell you, honestly, it was because I voted against somebody who I just thought was worse, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's a terrible way to vote. Because I remember how I felt when I was voting for Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. Like the first time I voted for Barack Obama, I remember that feeling. I was like, oh snap, we gotta get this president in here. It's gonna be cool. He's looking out for us. Mm-hmm. He's running on a campaign of positive change. And that was actually a good feeling. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then I relate that to how I voted this go around. I voted for Hillary because Trump is a buffoon and a monster. But I voted for her, just to vote against this asshole.
Getting this other guy.
And it was like, all right, fine, I did it. It's just like,
there was no
interest, no enthusiasm. It was just like, fuck it, fine, I did it. I felt like I was doing a duty, right? Like I was doing my duty to get rid of, or to try to get rid of a monster. Turns out that didn't work out.
And like you said, like even with Hillary winning the popular vote, I mean, in the end, it kind of didn't matter, But I would never get on here and say, don't vote. I mean, to each his own, If you work in this country and you pay taxes here and you live here, you represent this country with pride, because as many flaws as this country has, I'm an American through and through. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a true-blooded American. I was born here. You know what I mean? Like, this is my country, so I have no choice but to love this country and take pride in it. But if same as you have the right to vote, if you work here, you pay tax, you have the right not to vote. You know what I mean?
Like other countries, like my girlfriend, she's from Belgium, and she was telling me like they have to vote. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're a citizen, you have to vote. If you don't vote, I don't know what the penalty is. I don't think you go to jail, but there's a penalty if you don't vote. And it's like, that is
a small country like Belgium, you
and it's not a freedom, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you have to do this, It's like
a
but at the same time,
draft or
right.
something, yeah.
But that's interesting. It's like, how do we make it so it's mandatory for every adult male? I don't know if females have to now either anymore, but I think they were working on it. But I don't know if every adult male has to sign up for the draft, but every adult doesn't have to vote. Like, I understand it as you have a right to not vote, but at the same time, you have a duty to vote, I feel like. Unless you are like a conscientious objector, right? Or it's not your religious belief to vote for a human government. Mm-hmm. It's silly, but fine, No offense, but, do your thing. But I also feel like, like if that's not your reason, then, I mean, come on. Like, you're here. You have to live with the rules these people in power, decide, right? Mm-hmm. So if Trump wants to pass an executive order to make everybody have to, I don't know, do something heinous every time they file their taxes, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have to live with that. And if you didn't vote, then you're kind of a part of that. You're kind of a part of that situation, right?
I kind of feel like, I don't know, it's almost like, you mentioned voted for Barack Obama, how good that felt, and how, he was running a positive campaign, a campaign of positive change, and the way you felt when you went and cast that vote for him. But it's kind of unfair because Obama, as soon as he came on the screen, we knew who we were voting for. There was no shot. The other candidate had no shot. Like, there was just, from the beginning of his introduction as a candidate to the presidency of the United States, you knew who you were voting for. So it wasn't one of those decisions you made a month or two before you went to the polling site. You know what I mean? Or the the voting site. You know,
I guess that. Yeah, that's
I mean,
a
you
good
knew
point.
who you were voting for. I mean, from the jump street. I mean, it's black people galvanize together almost better than any other community of people. I would say of black Americans, especially when there's a black cause at stake. You see all these riots going on, and that's definitely a negative.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter and all that.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a negative way to affect change, but it is an effective way of, I guess, almost discussing change. It's a way of putting the fact that we need change in people's faces when you riot. I'm not condoning rioting, but I'm just trying to point the example that black people do.
Like a lot of Black Lives Matters weren't riots, right? They're protests,
like a march or something like that.
White people like to say they're riots, but they're not.
But I mean, I would say as far as voting, my personal stance in it is a lot of times to more directly affect change, directly in your community, it would almost be better to vote locally.
It is better to vote locally.
And a lot of people, what kills me about the presidential election is because it's like this hype train that people almost jump on, that a large percentage of people only care about every 4 years, when there's a lot of voting you can do in between those 4 years. And I don't want to sound like I'm not trying to call anybody a hypocrite or anything like that, but I don't want to be like, I voted, I went to the polls for this place, and then next year when the election's up for governor of Virginia or this and that, and there's nowhere to be found. Social consciousness is not there. Nobody cares. Who's the candidates? You know what I mean? Even though it's the presidency versus the governor of one state, it's.
But no, you're right. You're absolutely right, man. Like, and another part of it is it doesn't receive the media coverage, right? And I think that's a big part of it. So in that way, it's kind of a. I love conspiracies. I know you love conspiracies. So in that way, it's kind of a conspiracy to where the media doesn't cover your local elections like it covers the presidential election.
They put on the media what they want you to focus on.
Right. Your local media doesn't cover it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and then the elections happen and nobody knows
People don't know. Yeah. You
see all these signs. So that's obviously a conspiracy, You
see these signs in people's yards that say, Bob Dunwich for Senate or for Virginia House of Representatives or, and you're like, who the hell are these candidates? I don't even know who this guy is. You know what I mean?
Who's this person?
Like, you see these small commercials say, like you'll be watching Channel 5 and you'll be like, Sarah Greenway voted against women's rights. Or, you know what I mean? Like, one of them smear campaign commercials. And you're like, who the hell is that lady? You know what I mean? Like, you're right. There's just no coverage and people don't know. You don't see a lot of Facebook posts but media is driven by public interest. So if the public's not interested, they're not going to cover it, But how do you gain interest and traction in it if you don't?
You provide the option, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't even provide the option. So it's like, yeah, you're right. Like people like train wrecks, people like explosions and flashy, crazy, terrible things.
Fight compilations. And
right. We love that.
I watch a good fight compilation.
Man, I just watched some midgets fight earlier today. All right.
Was it funny?
It was hilarious. It was all right. I'm not gonna get into it. All right. Leave that alone. Not the proudest moment of my life, but it was hilarious. But this is the thing. People we're automatically attracted to those things, But the fact of the matter is, we have to at least be provided the option, right? So if your local news is talking about, a car accident that happened, then that's terrible, and you should have some info on that. But also your local news, whether it's on television or the radio, like our local radio needs to be hosting or having conversations with people running for local positions, right?
Some way to get yourself out to the public eye,
Right. We don't know who these people are. All of a sudden we're thrown with the name, like you said, the smear campaign against somebody who neither of which we've ever heard of. So it means nothing.
Like, I don't know you. I don't know the person you're trying to smear. So
right. So I skipped that joint. What's the next channel? But it's exactly what needs to happen. As far as
you're right.
As far as Donald Trump, though, as far as Donald Trump being president, man, we are in for a hell of the next 4 years, man. So
I know it's early to talk about this. You think he'll get elected again? I know it depends on which way it goes and all that, but as of right now, I think Americans will realize, damn, we fucked up.
If he doesn't blow anything up, then I feel like it's a potential he could go again. But he has, if enough stuff comes out about him, so that's when, like, shit's been coming out about him over the last campaign, right? Yeah. So more's gonna come out, right? We know that more stuff is coming out,
which we shouldn't be surprised by anything that comes out, because Donald Trump has always been this person. He's just never been president-elect of the United States before, or eligible to be president. I mean, he's always probably grabbed girls' asses and flirted with girls with big boobs, and he's probably always done those things. Man. He's been a wealthy.
Dude, all that shit playboy. You're saying, that's the fucking president right now. You understand this shit? Like, that shit is fucking embarrassing, man. Like, I'm embarrassed more than anything else.
That's what I was saying. I'm glad you brought that up, because, most presidents say, oh, I have a wife, and this is my... And I don't know, maybe Obama was married 2 or 3 times before. No, that was his wife since, like, high school, right? His girlfriend or something like that. But maybe Bush was married 2 or 3 times before. Trump has openly been married 3 times. You know? So, and I'm not saying that everybody who married and has a divorce is wrong or a bad person, but Donald Trump's a wealthy businessman who's been married several times, who lives a decadent lifestyle. I mean, that's like everything.
He was a playboy, all right? He was on the cover of Playboy.
Every moral fiber that can be broken is broken by Donald Trump already. You know what I mean?
Every moral fiber, every moral bone in America's body has been severed right now.
There's no...
there is nothing left.
There's nothing more that he can do that's immoral. He's done it all already, And you're right. You know what? That's our president, and it is embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
More. If it comes out that he was actually colluding with Russia and Putin, watch. You know what? Maybe that would be cool with this fucking right-wing lunatic alt-right assholes too. Damn, maybe that'll be
impeached. That'd be crazy. We had like a formal trial, and he got impeached.
That's the thing, man. Damn. Because fucking then Pence is president. Mm-hmm. And Pence is a monster. He thinks you could... This nigga thinks you could cure homosexuality with shock treatment.
These guys...
Yes! Yes!
No comment. But,
oh my God, dude. Like, those are the...
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these candidates, especially for president, because a lot of them are deeply religious, come from deep religious backgrounds.
That's one thing for Trump. He's not. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I kind of respect him.
I would think. As a businessman, I mean, maybe we just got to give the guy a chance. I mean, America is run like a big corporation, and he's a corporate, megastar who's had successes and failures at it, and maybe we just got to let it run its course,
Dude, but that's not a good thing, right?
No.
The fact that America's run like a corporation is probably one of the worst things about America.
Yeah, I mean, this land can be bought and sold, and they say
you don't invest any money into anything that doesn't have an almost immediate financial return.
Foreign countries own large chunks of this country. I mean, when you hear a country like India or China that owns the biggest port in New York, or and they said China owns a large portion of San Francisco, and I'm not talking about like owning the downtown land, but I'm talking about investing in the buildings, owning things that are there. You know what I mean? It's a Japanese financial group that owns the largest building in downtown San Francisco or whatever. America can be bought and sold. It can be auctioned off. You know what I mean? Like to the highest bidder almost. So it's kind of scary that way, because it is run like a corporation, and if you have the money to buy the stock, you can have it.
You have the money to buy the politician.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have them, and they'll vote whichever way you want them to.
It's kind of scary, man. But we were talking pre-cast. Now I told you I was watching this video, and it showed Donald Trump's lifestyle, and it went up to his penthouse. I was watching the coverage the day after the election. Obviously as half of America was.
Did you watch the election? Watch it the election night?
I was at work.
Oh, that's right.
So that's why I was watching the coverage when we got out of there. But they said that there was a reporter outside, and they were talking to him. He was in New York, and he was waiting for Donald Trump to come downstairs. And they said, after Donald Trump found out he was to be the president-elect of the United States, he retired upstairs on the top of Trump Plaza to his 3-story penthouse at the top. I mean, I thought seriously, like, damn, that's pimping. Like, I can't even hate on him for that. I mean, he got a 3-level penthouse at the top of Trump Plaza in Times Square in New York. I mean, that all sounds expensive. Add that sentence up. a 3-level penthouse in Trump Plaza in Times Square, New York City. Damn, that's an expensive sentence right there. You know what I mean?
That's sentence right there.
This dude has money. I mean, he comes from wealth. You know, like his kids will not. He's going to pass on along wealth to them, not money. So
or debt. We'll see.
Or debt, or a name. You know.
We'll see how. That's all going to depend on if he's a good president. If he's a bad president, the Trump name ain't going to go shit.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a lot of the buildings who were named after him were kind of rethinking changing the name of the building. Or
I heard that, John, too, man.
A lot of the people that invest along with him, like a lot of his ownership group and everything, was wondering how him being elected, or president-elect of the United States, was going to affect their business as far as, you know, public image and stuff like that. And
he took a lot of hits.
Mm-hmm.
Like over this campaign, he took a lot of.
Are gonna suffer for him being president, you know?
Yeah. Or even like the campaign, like when everything came out against him, like all these things, all these releases, all these smears against him. I'm not gonna lie, there were smears, you know, and they smeared Hillary. That's what they do in politics,
that's
right?
The point of
like they smeared the shit out of her. So it's like they smeared the shit out of you.
Donald Trump raped 4 girls 10 years ago. He didn't tell you about that, huh? You know, and they'll just say it all regular, like he raped 10 girls. You know? Like, damn. That's a criminal offense. You just throwing it around like it's...
That joint's going to hit his name. It's not just going to hit him. It's going to hit his name. It's going to hit his lineage.
Right? Look, that's a criminal offense. You throwing it around like it's a your mama joke or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, damn. That's not funny.
So, yeah. With Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Donald Trump raped 10 girls.
He raped 10 girls.
Everybody like, oh!
Yeah, you know what I mean? Quiet down, everybody. Okay, Donald, did you rape 10 girls? Well, I'll tell you what, Chris. You know what I mean? Like, he just deflects and shit.
I'll tell you who didn't rape 10 girls.
She didn't. You know what I mean? That don't get downright dirty out there. She didn't do it. Like, now what?
She couldn't do it if she needed to.
She couldn't do it.
She can't take the heat. Turn that joke into a character flaw and not be able to rape 10 girls and shit.
Man, it's crazy,
I did it for America.
I think America, man, like the power of change is like just people want change, you know. I think, you know, in large part, people are tired of being fed the same BS by these candidates, you know. The internet is so prevalent and part of our lives nowadays that information is at your fingertips, and, you know, any question you have to ask or any knowledge you wish to seek, you can pretty much find. I mean, you know, on your phone, your tablet, your computer, and people are just being tired. They're tired of being fed the same lines. And to Hillary's fault, she sounded the same. Exactly. She just was boring and she sounded the same rhetoric, you know. At least Donald Trump came in, made you laugh, made you say, oh man, why would he say that? You know what I mean? Made you question him, and it was just different, you know. And I think that, in large part, won him the,
he was an asshole, but he was an asshole with a personality, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Definitely had a personality. And,
God damn, he's an asshole, though.
We'll see how he does, man. I mean, he's
I'm just embarrassed of the United States. Man.
I am too.
Like, imagine going to another country, right? And you be like, oh, you're an American? How the fuck y'all elect Donald Trump? Like, how do you explain that to somebody in China?
How do you explain electing a wealthy corporate businessman as the
elect
administrative
anti-establishment, anti-corporate,
You're supposed to be representative of the country as a whole, which includes the corporations, the people, the business aspect, the socio-economic aspect of everything, and he just is so detached from a large percentage of
spent half his life grabbing pussy.
Exactly. He just detached from the large he's detached from the reality that a large percentage of Americans face day to day. So how can you accurately represent what we want, you know? And the only way to explain his election is the fact that people just want to change, man.
They want anything new.
Yeah, you can't just come tell me the same thing every single time. And just I'm listening like, okay, you sound like him, you know?
Wait, man, I disagree. I think people are dumb.
Yeah,
I think as a mass, I think as a large mass, the mob is stupid, and I think on the internet, man, the mob mentality can take over a lot quicker on the internet. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to realize it's like the mob mentality can take over a lot quicker on the internet, man, because you see posts and you see Like, what pops up on your news feed, right? The shit that gets the most views.
And once you put out a narrative like, hey, this is the way this thing is.
Yeah, like, people glom on.
People glom on and sway that way, So,
So it was like, oh, man. So it's crazy.
Scary,
that's
man.
crazy because the internet used to be a source of individuality. You searching for your, like, at the same time, it's such a weird thing.
It kind of is, though, isn't it?
It is, because you can find your niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have any niche, you can find on the internet. That's your individuality, your individual interest, your individual whatever. You can find it. But at the same time, when it comes to politics, when it comes to opinion, like...
There you go, opinion, yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to those things, like the you find the horde that has your opinion, and then or the horde that has closest to your opinion. It may not be exactly your opinion, but it's as close as you got, right? And you glom onto that horde, and then that horde takes over, and then you become you become alt-right, or you become SJW lib, right?
And there's no swaying you either one way. This is what I believe, and that's it. And this is what I'm gonna.
Right, because
maybe that's
dialogue becomes moot after a while.
Maybe that's
it's a double-edged sword, man. The internet has been a double-edged sword.
And
the internet elected Trump, man. Like conspiracy theories.
If you asked me this a year ago, I seriously was telling people he's not going to win. Like, he's just there.
I remember, actually, we have it. I think it was on like episode 4. You were like, he's not going to win.
And
that's when we were still talking about Bernie Sanders.
You know what? Damn, you bringing up all the good points. Somebody said, what if they had, the Democrats had elected Bernie Sanders to run against Donald Trump as opposed to Hillary, you know what I mean? Like, the Democrats actually the ones who fucked this whole thing up,
Yeah, I agree. Democrats, the DNC did this shit.
By pushing out Bernie Sanders and uplifting Hillary.
Giving their most damaged candidate the spotlight.
They were saying, like, man, do you think Bernie Sanders would have won against Trump? And I don't think so. Bernie Sanders would have pulled a lot more on the heartstrings of the everyday person, and I think he would have got people to the polls. And
I think a lot of people didn't vote because Bernie Sanders wasn't running, and they couldn't do, like, their conscience. Like, I have friends who voted for, you know what they voted for? Jill Stein.
Was she an independent?
Yeah, independent, Green Party. She did get 4%. She got 4%.
That's a lot.
That's a lot
for an independent candidate.
Like, what was it? Gary Johnson got 6. But that's the thing. Like, their conscience wouldn't let them. Like, if Bernie was running, they would have voted for Bernie. But they didn't, right? Because their conscience won't let them. A lot of people who voted for Gary Johnson, 6%. Because they didn't have another option. They just didn't want to vote for Hillary or Trump. They didn't like either one of them, so they voted for a third party. And those third-party votes, they counted,
So maybe third party should be more of a relevant. Well, then I guess
it should be more relevant. They should have
been on who wins the election if you had a third party in there, Because like you give us these two candidates, and this perfect example. What if I don't like either one of these guys? Where's my outlet? Where's the person I have to vote for?
Where's the option? None of the above. Can I get the none of the above option?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's scary, man. I mean, we're in uncharted waters right now. I mean, I don't know if we've, George Bush was pretty well off, right? I mean, I know Dick Cheney had a couple of corporate holdings, and but nobody ever.
George Bush he was the second Bush to be president. Like they came from money.
It's like a family of presidents.
They're Texas, like, wealthy. Was it oil and then oil?
Yeah. I have an oil business.
Yeah, man. So they came from money,
Man, but
Clinton, they weren't hurting.
But at the same time, they were politicians. At least George Bush, to whatever credit you can give him, he had a history of being in a political family. You know what I mean? Whereas Donald Trump is.
He ran. He had position in states before.
Donald Trump's a Joe Schmo who just decided one day, woke up and said, "Hey, I'm going to run for the president of the United States. Why not? You know what I mean? What's the worst thing that happen? I've been on The Apprentice. Why not be in a debate and see what happens? Yeah. And he just gained so much traction, and here we are, man. But I guess
it's just people wanting anti-establishment, man, and they just that's gotta be it. Like, but you know what? At the same time, so what do you think about this opinion, right? So there's an opinion out there that goes around, and I think Jon Stewart was talking about it. Also, I heard a couple other celebrities mentioning it, but they're saying that so, the narrative goes out, if you voted for Trump, you're a racist, right? Because Trump has said a lot of racist things.
Weren't we just talking about, We just talk about narratives and how they're built and how people sway to one side. So it's like Donald Trump. If you vote for Donald Trump, you're a racist. Like,
that's so cut and
clean.
It's
like it just cuts. So
mob.
That's really
like that's mob. That's a mob mentality.
It's
right
like
there.
really, I gotta be racist because I voted for this guy.
Right.
You know?
But at the same time,
maybe
the
I
other
just didn't like Hillary and I just wanted to vote for the other candidate going against her. You know?
Right. Maybe you just an establishment vote. Right.
Whatever.
But then there's this other part of that argument. Right. They're saying that okay, whether or not you're racist, racism wasn't enough to be a deal breaker for you for Donald Trump. Right. So racism didn't mean enough to you to be a deal breaker. And I'm looking at that statement. I'm like, okay, well, that to me it feels like that's a good point. You know, like if you voted for him, you can say you're not racist, but you voted for a racist. You voted for somebody whose
Donald Trump racist?
Yes,
but who isn't racist nowadays? I mean, everybody sees. You might not be racist to the extent where you will do something to degrade another race of people, but everybody sees color.
Everybody sees color, but there's a difference. People
show more empathy than others, but going back to empathy, like we were talking about pre-cast, but I mean, maybe Donald Trump is not good at his empathic side, being a businessman. He's kind of cold-blooded that way, you know what I mean?
Sociopathic.
But does that necessarily mean that he's racist? You know, everybody sees colors. You know what I mean? Like you have people that joke on black people. Oh, y'all like chicken. You know, it's like Dave Chappelle said. Where are all these people who don't like chicken? And what color do you have to be to not like chicken? Because chicken is fucking delicious. You know what I mean? Well, I guess maybe not to you, vegetarian types. You know,
pescatarian. I like fish.
Excuse me.
Fine. Fair enough.
You know, but still.
Point taken.
You know, and everybody sees colors. I mean, Asian people see black people as black. You know, you go into an Asian store, are you done? You busy? Need help? You know what I mean? Like, damn, can I shop like everybody else? You know, everybody gets profile. You know, you see two Poindexterous looking white guys walking, and you say, "Damn, look at these uppity white guys with sticks up their asses." You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Like I was looking at an Asian dude earlier today, and he was at Target. We're at Target, and he was like had a hanger, and he apparently locked his keys in his car. I assume he locked his keys in his car, and he's trying to get the hanger in there to unlock his door, right? So I looked at my girl, and I'm like, you know, if he was black, people would have called the cops on him.
That's fucked up, Juice. That's racist.
But I was saying, like, yo, I mean, that will be people's first reaction.
He was
like,
that joke.
Oh.
What the hell are you doing? Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
so
fucked
it's
up.
like,
That's
I'm just
racist.
saying, but he was Asian, so everybody, even me, my reaction was, oh, he's just trying to get his keys out of his car.
That's kind of sad.
I don't know. I didn't know that.
It's kind of sad that we've been swayed.
Because if he was Mexican or black, we'd have been like, oh shit.
It's sad that we've been swayed to think about black people that way. You know what I mean? Even black Americans think about black Americans that way. Like we have this image in our mind of this ghetto, like hood kind of. You know, when you see people walking there loud, obnoxious, and boisterous, like, look at these ghetto motherfuckers right here, and they gotta be black, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
they gotta be ghetto.
Like you were saying, one other cat, nobody wants to be a nigga, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's true, right?
Who wants to be a nigga, man?
I mean, but,
like what Dave Chappelle say, if he could turn that joke, if he could be white, he said he'd be out the game. He said it on SNL the other night. He was like, yo, I'll be out the game right now, man. Because at this point, it's just downhill.
Yeah, man, so... everybody sees racial colors, you know, racial lines. You know, Donald Trump might be presumed as a racist because, like you said, narratives get dug in on, especially because of the internet and just the fact that a lot of the stuff that he said is not anything that people don't already think. You know what I mean? Asian people think about white people and say, look at these white mugs. I'm going to stick to. I think,
but does that make them racist, right? So it's the difference between having a perspective on a group of people, right, and then having the power to do something about your perspective, right? So if you are a person in power and you have a perspective on a certain group of people, and it's not to help them, it's that they're the problem. If your perspective is that they're the problem, then we have a issue, right? Like you don't have to like black people. But as long as you don't have power over black people, then it's fine. You could be as racist as you fucking want. Like, I don't care. But when you have power, then you have a completely different dynamic here.
True. Yeah,
and that's a dangerous thing, right? So you have Trump right now. And whether or not Trump is racist,
But what makes
his
Trump
cabinet, his people are racist. He has David Duke in that joint throwing a goddamn party because Trump is president and he thinks, oh, that's my president right there, you know? And David Duke is a former leader of the KKK. So he elected the person who was rejected from the Supreme Court in the 90s because he was too racist. And he elected this person. He put in this person from the 90s, and also in the 60s he was definitely vocal against civil rights. So this same person he's putting as Attorney General. He's putting that person as Attorney General. That joint came out fucking 2 days ago. I'm like, wait a minute. So
are there any NRA ties between this guy? We should do some research into this dude, because a lot of times when you elect people to your cabinet or whatever, it's to pay back favors. Guys who boosted you up to get in that position, you know what I mean?
Well, that's like, the case, and then that whole anti-establishment thing didn't work out.
What makes Donald Trump any more racist than George Bush, than Bill Clinton, than the first George Bush, than Richard Nixon? You know what I mean? I'm sure all these guys had racist tendencies. Or
the fact is, he ran on it.
Maybe not racist. True that. Maybe not racist so much as discriminatory tendencies, you know? I mean,
also, the KKK didn't necessarily back them up.
Is there a difference between racism and discrimination? Like, is Donald Trump a racist or a discriminant? You know what I mean? Like, does he discriminate? I don't know. But you're right. The narrative is that Donald Trump is a racist, and I'm like, what makes him any more racist than any other?
Right. Like maybe we're just throwing everybody under the bus. Maybe the whole mob mentality is taking over. You know, and I'm open for that. That's probably true. When you say everybody vote for Trump is a racist, that can't be true, right?
It can't be.
It can't be. Some people generally wanted a change in the government. I want a change in the government. I didn't think Trump was going to be the person to do it. We're about to find out. But I definitely want to change the government. That's why I was with Bernie Sanders. At the same time, you have to look at people who did vote for Trump and be like, look, racism wasn't a deal breaker for them. So whether or not they experience racism or they have racist tendencies, whatever, or they don't, and they decide to vote just for an anti-establishment perspective, like racism, they haven't experienced it, so it doesn't have an effect on them, so they were like, fine, I guess they'll have to deal with it when they have to deal with it. So it's not like, it's not a unity perspective.
Yeah, it's scary, man. Hey, speaking on discrimination and experiencing racism and all that, I know this has nothing to do with Donald Trump and the presidential election, but your boy Lil Wayne is back up to his old coonery, dog.
God, dude.
I mean, that's coonery right there, dog.
That is, man. He shut the job, man.
Charlamagne gave him Donkey of the Day, and he ran through a bunch of his lyrics where he was promoting, talking about police violence and how he was being discriminated against, and he just had a whole bunch of these like clips it was about 4 or 5 clips from different songs that he's did in his verses where he's pointing out specific instances where he was discriminated against, or how he's talking about Black Lives Matter and people getting shot unfairly, and it's just like, what the hell is wrong with this dude? First of all, Lil Wayne, clear your throat, because I don't understand all this. I never experienced racism, man. I just don't, you know what I mean? Speak the fuck up, man. Like, why is Lil Wayne a representative for the black community anyway?
Why he always so goddamn sleepy?
Exactly. Like, man, leave that goddamn purple drink or whatever it is alone, man. Leave that lean alone, man. Damn. But
I don't know. I'm scared to see him excited.
I just thought about that when you said experiencing racism and all that stuff, man. It's funny.
Dude, Kanye West, man. Hold on. Kanye West. You heard that shit? So Kanye West was on at a concert like over the weekend or last week or something, and he was saying, he was doing one of his rants, and he was talking about how he didn't vote, but if he did, he would have voted for Donald Trump because Donald Trump was right. Yeah, he was like,
a video on World Star. I didn't watch it though.
I'm telling you, man. It's like,
so and then people, and then he said, why didn't he vote for him? Because,
but whatever it was, it pissed off the crowd. The crowd was like,
yeah, that's why they wanted it. They people was mad. Donald Trump
rolled out.
Kanye West. I mean, don't try to poke at the sensibilities of somebody's political affiliations and stuff like that, because if there's 2 things people get really serious about, 3 things people get dead serious about and will fight you and go to jail over, is religion, politics, and sports. You know what I mean?
And money.
And money. Finances.
Religion, politics, sports. Sports though?
Sports, dog. People
Niggas
take
be fighting over sports?
seriously. You know how much money is exchanged every NFL Sunday? You know how much money is exchanged as far as like bet books, bookies, Vegas, betting lines, betting the over or under on games.
But
point
if you're not betting, why you fighting?
There's a financial gain into because people get emotional about it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes as a Redskins fan, I go on my Redskins show right now. Your week kind of rides and dies on if they win or lose, because a lot of your favorite programming that you like to listen to about sports, just because I'm a Redskins fan, just because I'm a Redskins fan, I like the NFL as a whole, so I like to pay attention to other games. And when they talk about, the Redskins, when we come up in conversation, they're gonna say, "Oh, they lost, they suck," blah blah blah. You don't want to hear that. Like sometimes, like if we lose. I don't even want to watch football the rest of the day. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't even want to go watch the Chargers and the 49ers. I don't care. Like, if we lost. Yeah, so people get
y'all like emotionally, you're like invested in it. Not even emotionally, but like, yeah, you're invested in it.
Right? Last couple weeks was tough to take, man. You see me and Ace was talking about that Bengals and Redskins game, man. That joint was that was tough. That felt like a loss thing. You know what I mean?
Wait, who won?
Juice. We were watching that game. That game came on at 9:30 in the morning. It didn't go all until 1:30, damn near 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They played 5 quarters. Ended in a tie. Nobody won.
What?
There was a tie. It was a 27-27 or something like that.
See, this is why Ace should have been on the show, because we would have talked about that joint.
That joint hurt. I mean, Ace
that would have been a riveting radio.
A little bit after that, and like, damn, I couldn't believe that.
So we should have. If we'd have done a podcast during that game, damn, that would have been great. That would have been riveting.
Me and Ace might have got to fighting in that.
That would have been good radio right there.
It would have been.
God damn, that would have been good radio.
But damn, hey, I guess all that's left to say on the Trump topic is congratulations to Trump and America. Here we go. You know what I mean? Like, we're on this roller coaster for 4 years, so let's see what happens. I mean,
so speaking of Trump winning the election, so about the gun range, man. So we down for tomorrow, man? Because let's
go. You know what I mean?
They invited me to the gun range today. I'm like,
I need to go. Today. I overslept a little, so we're probably gonna try to hit it tomorrow morning. But yeah, man, let's go, man.
Like I was saying, like I said it on the radio or on the podcast last time. If Trump wins the election, I'm getting a gun. That's it, man. Like I gotta get it. Like I'm normally not really into guns and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't carry mine around with me. I don't even have a carry license. Obviously, why I don't carry it. Even if I did have a carry license, I don't know if I would necessarily carry it. Like, I wouldn't have it right now, on my head, because
it's not that serious.
I've made 32 years without carrying one. I don't think I need to start necessarily. But with that being said, I do feel a little more safe having it, though. You know what I mean? I feel like it's almost like a security blanket. Like, if things ever do go down, because, when the whole election and everything comes around and people's level of awareness, man, you realize how fragile society really is. You know what I mean? Yeah. You take away one thing, things crumble. When people can't get gas, you know what I mean? You see these long ass lines at the gas station. When there's a big snowstorm and everything stops in this area, you know what I mean?
Yes, dude.
Can't get
Joe Rogan talks about that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, think about if our power network went down. There's no electricity. You know what I mean? People would die. I mean, you couldn't go on the lights. There's no internet.
Dude, think about just food, right? So we get food from the grocery stores. If we don't go there we ever been on like a Saturday night or a Sunday night when they don't have anything stocked and everything's running out? Like, it's fucking empty. There's nothing there because people have bought everything up. Mm-hmm. So where do we go if we don't have food? If the trucks stop coming.
For food.
If the trucks stop coming, that's it, son.
We're dead.
Like we're dead.
You won't even be able to grow anything in the time before you
starve.
You know
right, you know what I'm saying?
You're gonna be dead before anything grows.
Like, there's gonna be cannibalism going on. If it goes for a month, there's gonna be cannibalism going on.
And that joint makes you so scared, man. It's like society is so fragile, man. So in that sense, I do feel a little more security having that gun.
Yeah, that's
because that possibility is so real, even though it's pushed to the back of people's minds. Now, I don't think a large majority of people think about that. You know what I mean? I think people really go day to day and don't think that
we don't.
This thing is so fragile. You know what I mean? This could end, when you run your gas down to just before the E, and you think, I can go another mile before I go to the gas station. Well, what if that gas station doesn't have any gas? You know what I mean?
And then
what if there's a long line there at that gas station? Or what if you cannot get gas into your car? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to walk home from Alexandria? It's that fragile, man. It can all go up Just like that. It's scary. It's a scary thought.
Crazy. We do not think about that. Because you know what? We've been trained to not think about that.
Yeah.
We've been
consumer
trained
society.
not to think like that.
That's why all your food is packaged. And they talk about all these additives in the pre-packaged foods and like all that stuff you and Steph are always talking about. You know what I mean? I always draw some
preservatives.
Yeah. Probably need Steph and we should have recorded that podcast. We were sitting at their house. Yeah. You know, Corey was there and all that, man. We should record that, man. That was enlightening, man. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting back listening, like that was cool, man. Like Corey would definitely be a good dude to have in the cat, definitely. But yeah, hey, we're gonna go tomorrow, man. Maybe in the morning, man. Maybe like I gotta look and see what time they open. I'll look at the end of the cast, but maybe like 10, 11, 12, man. We can go early.
Dude, I'm definitely down.
The Redskins don't play till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so I'm going over Chris' house, you know, with Dennis and all that.
All right,
so. Yeah, so we good, man. We go 10, 11, 12. Go early in the day, so we can get that shit out of the way. It only take like an hour. I mean, when you buy the bullets, you see they go so fast. I mean, because you would be, me and Mums was in that joint. You know, Mums was trying to shoot it like this.
Trying to shoot sideways, yo?
He's trying to with one arm and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Mums in that joint.
Yo, they have like a gun that can rent there or something? Or?
Nah, we use mine.
Okay.
Man, we use my joint. Yeah, we rent a lane and just buy a couple boxes of bullets, and yeah, that's it. Use my joint.
Damn, dude, definitely.
But yeah, man. So
gotta get armed, man.
Got to. You know,
Trump
I went to Gander Mountain, man. It's weird, man. Virginia, you definitely live in a gun state. You know, when people always say the NRA is backing this candidate, that candidate, and you know, and when you see how prevalent guns are, like I went into Gander Mountain and there was so many people in there, but nobody was shopping throughout the store. Everybody was back at the gun case. You know what I mean? There was probably about 30 people back there. Like,
damn.
Because the gun case runs the whole back of the store, you know? So, I mean, they had shotguns and assault rifles. They had a shotgun for $250. You know what I mean? You go in there with a clean record and that money, you can get a gun. You know what I mean? Like, there's no... If you don't have a criminal... The only hang-up you would have is if you have a criminal record. Other than that, it'll take you... I was in there maybe about an hour. They ran my background check, blah, blah, blah. Came back. I think they had to get some other kind of approval from the manager of the store. Like, when you buy the gun, the manager will have to come and look at all your information, see if everything matches with the DMV and the address and blah, 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 you know. And you can get a gun. It's easy. Like, you just go in there and pay your money. It's like buying a pair of shoes. You know what I mean? Like, you go get a gun. So, yeah, it's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking that way. It's like, man, I got to step my gun game up, though. I need to get an AR. I need to get an assault rifle. I'm saying, they
fucking assault rifle?
No, they got them in there for $300, $350. You can get an assault rifle.
That's it?
Dog,
I thought them just was like a G.
I didn't even know
like $300?
I didn't even know this. Well, of course, you have your more expensive guns and brands. You know, you got like a Sig Sauer. You got, they got these Glock joints where you can, you know, a Glock, like a regular Glock handgun. You could take off the bottom part of the Glock, you know, take off the barrel and attach that, the handle part to an assault rifle. It's like it's like a Glock. So you can switch between the assault rifle and the handgun. You know what I mean? That was crazy. So I didn't realize how much. I gotta see
it because I have no idea.
I didn't realize how much of a cult gun ownership was until I purchased one and started realizing, you know, all the videos and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess the next thing is we got to talk about your man LeBron James. Yeah, I guess he did something very admirable. And this story jumped out at me because, you know, in previous casts we talked about how we wish that more black athletes and entertainers would do something for their communities. And speaking of which, you know, we're on LeBron James, kind of the same thing. I saw a endorsement video for LeBron James like a week before the election where he was endorsing Hillary Clinton somewhere. He was on stage with her or something like that. And I'm like, really, Hillary? Is it this far into the fact you know you're going to lose now, so you're trying to draw on the heartstrings of people by appealing to one of the most popular athletes in American sports who happens to be a black guy?
When she brought out Jay-Z and Beyonce, I'm like, oh,
come on,
God.
man. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
God, she irks me to no end, man.
But you know, it was embarrassing
like,
for them
when I talk about, listen, people, when I talk about Trump, don't get it twisted. I dislike the shit out of Hillary Clinton. All right, she fucking she just fucking irks me to no end.
It shows that they do not get it.
Pandering like a motherfucker.
They don't get it. Like, I'm not talking about the athletes or the entertainers. I'm talking about Hillary Clinton and everybody who works for her whole side. They don't get it.
They don't get it.
They do not get it.
They don't know why they lost. They don't understand.
They are perplexed.
It's beyond them.
Whoa, what do you mean? We brought out Jay-Z. You know, why would they not vote for us?
They should love us. The blacks should love us.
And to me, it's embarrassing for them too. Like Jay-Z
They should be embarrassed.
And LeBron. I haven't been following them this whole election and to see who they've been endorsing from the jump street, but just to make that kind of a public appearance so late into the election, and just, you know, it was embarrassing, man. It's like, what are y'all grasping at? Like, what did they have to bribe LeBron James with to get him to step up?
You know what would have been cool, man?
Is there a corporate interest there? Is because, you know, everything is so mingled up. You know, Nike could own, who LeBron has a contract with, lifetime contract, could own a piece of another company who owns something that's involved with Hillary Clinton. So there's a political and business connection there that, you know, they wanted to exploit by, you know what I mean? So it's like, why are y'all endorsing this person now? You know, I haven't seen you wearing Hillary Clinton shirts around a year ago. You know what I mean? So why is it now that you're on stage? It's so shallow. It just seems so like, what? Okay. Like, you're not going to make me vote for you because you came on stage with LeBron James. But, all right.
Last political point before we switch to topics. But, so what if, man, like, so you remember how Killer Mike was, like, supporting Bernie Sanders?
I like Killer Mike.
Me too.
When did he become such a political activist, though?
I don't know.
With a name like Killer Mike.
That's the thing. I
remember when he was rapping.
Right, me too, man. He was cool as shit. And the fact is, though, that he kind of came to Bernie himself. It's not like Bernie went out and was like, hey, come on, we need you to run with us. Mm-hmm. Like, he went out, and same with Cornel West. Like, they both went and backed Bernie Sanders, right? Because they believed in his message. What if other, like, celebrities, like, actually believed or decided to believe in the message and went and backed somebody they actually cared about? Not somebody like Hillary Clinton, who I can't conceivably imagine somebody caring about her message. Mm-hmm. I don't know what her message was. But imagine, like, if maybe Jay-Z or Kanye West was like, you know, I believe in these principles that Bernie Sanders or some other, like, progressive or somebody, like, establishment fighting, with an establishment fighting position came and decided to back, like, a person, like, with an actual political, like, angle. Like, can they do that? Because Killer Mike did it, right? And I imagine, like, maybe it's because he's not such a huge name. Maybe he doesn't have contracts saying he can't do that. I don't know if their contracts saying he can't do that. But, yeah, there's nothing for him to lose. But I imagine, like, what if they did that? And then we could have brought more people to a candidate like Bernie Sanders, right? I don't know. It just
brought more attention.
I imagine, like, it would have been a bigger.
It's too much to lose, man, for these guys, and you know.
But if it's something you believe in, then it's worth it, right? So I imagine if it's something, right? Like, if it's a principle stance, and you're already successful, if you lose if you lose $1 million and you're a millionaire, right?
What's losing $1 million to somebody who's worth 50?
Right, exactly. And then and you're able to stand by your principles. Like kind of what Kaepernick did, right? Like he stood for his principles. He lost endorsements.
You know, Kaepernick's getting paid, I think they said like $12 million from his contract with the 49ers this year. So shit. I mean, if my money's already made, you know. Right. Yeah, shit, I'll take it.
But he's going to lose endorsements.
Oh, of course.
Right. But that's the thing, like,
he's going to lose those anyway because he's not playing well. So.
Okay.
You know, those companies will hop off you if you don't perform and produce. And whatever sport you're in, they'll hop off you.
Okay. Well, still, like, it's like, you know, he was able to make a political, he take a stance, you know, about something he believed in, you know, and I don't know. I imagine, like, what if more actors, but that's a dangerous thing too, because some people don't think, they'll just go with whatever their celebrity favorites say.
You know, this is a nice segue into what we were talking about with LeBron James and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Now, I was watching, I think we probably watched the same video where Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith were talking, and just, you know, the sacrifice that Muhammad Ali made, you know, where he wanted to be called Muhammad Ali and not Cassius Clay. And, you know, when you come at that time in America and say that your name is not Cassius Clay, it's Muhammad Ali.
And then has to say it to the announcer, to the person, to the host, like, no, it's Muhammad Ali.
Saying it to white America at that time in American history.
Right.
You know, it's a big stance. And even refusing to go into the draft or to answer to a name that he didn't recognize, and losing his title. And however many finances he lost, and nobody would make that kind of sacrifice nowadays.
He lost his title, man.
They stripped him of his title.
They stripped his title.
No athlete today would make that kind of sacrifice.
No, not
entertainer.
one.
Just like you were just saying. That's why I said it's a nice segue. Like Kanye, LeBron, Jay-Z, none of them are going to make that kind of sacrifice.
Nobody will make that sacrifice for their principles.
For their principles and what they believe in.
What they believe in. Because I don't want to say...
They were asking would LeBron James, like you said, ever be as big as Muhammad Ali? Hell no. There's no way possible because Muhammad Ali took such a stance at such a crucial time in American history that projected his image beyond the sports realm. Right. He's a global figure now. You know what I mean? Like...
He was a man with principle. He became a hero at that moment, right? Exactly. He becomes a hero. So a hero is somebody who sacrifices himself for the greater well-being, right? So if you don't make that sacrifice, then you can't ascend to that level. And a hero is the only person that will stand the test of time, right? There's only name that will stand the test of time. Whereas an actor or a artist or anybody, a sports figure, they won't. Like, they'll be famous. Like, Kobe Bryant's only going to be famous until he's too old to play anymore.
Well, he retired last year. Right. This is the first year without him.
How many times has he been in the headlines since he's retired?
He'll be famous because, people always remember his name. He has a great name in the sport of basketball. It's like Jack Nicklaus in golf. Like, nobody ever knows him, but, he died so long ago, but everybody knows he's one of the greatest golfers in history. Max Kellerman told a story in that video, even in the Muhammad Ali movie with Will Smith. He's jogging through Zaire, and he sees this mural painted on the wall of him punching a warplane or something out of the sky.
Yeah, that's right.
And they said that was a true story. He said that actually happened to Muhammad Ali. And then he said that moment he realized that he was bigger than sports. Like, people
He was bigger than what he thought.
They didn't care about him just for being a boxer. He was like you said, a hero. He was
Can you imagine?
People looked up to and aspired to be like,
Can you imagine what kind of transcendental moment that is? When you look at there in another country, right?
I've never been in
another country, and you see a mural of you
yourself
fighting a plane in some angle
in the political realm where all you've done is box, and you realize you had that kind of impact on people's lives.
Like,
man,
you've ascended to another level.
It's crazy, man. We covered Muhammad Ali in another cast, I believe, right after he died. Yeah. But much respect to LeBron James, though. Just read this quick little clip right here. Cleveland Cavaliers superstar, and this is from World Star Hip Hop. Cleveland Cavaliers superstar LeBron James, longtime business partner Maverick Carter, and the LeBron James Family Foundation combined to donate $2.5 million to the National Museum of African American History and Culture at the Smithsonian for a Muhammad Ali exhibit. The report noted 2 other NBA legends previously joined the cause, with 6-time champion Michael Jordan donating $5 million.
Nice.
And 5-time champion Magic Johnson and his wife Cookie, contributing at least $1 million to the museum. First of all, LeBron James, one of the most well-recognized athletes, maybe one of the most wealthiest black men in America at this point. He's going to get paid for the rest of his life, even after he stops playing basketball, because he has a lifetime contract with Nike. So they're going to pay him even after he stops. Yeah, they're going to pay him no matter what. It's a lifetime contract. Donated $2.5 million. Michael Jordan came in and said, 2.5, here's 5. You know what I mean? Donated twice that. Like, damn.
Come on, man.
Come on, Mike.
Let me get my J's money.
Mike, you ain't got to show up LeBron like that. You know what I mean? He said 2.5. Let me hit 5. You know what I mean?
This nigga took briefcases and made it rain.
I'll take you 2.5 and double up. You know what I mean?
What's saying?
Told him like Cameron, double up, man. But much respect to LeBron James, Michael Jordan.
Like, that's a powerful statement.
It is, and it's not like they donated to something crazy like they donated to a Muhammad Ali exhibit. That's a worthy cause. I mean, for all the reasons we just got finished talking about,
somebody
the
was
greatness that was Muhammad Ali. And who's not going to go see that exhibit? You know what I mean?
Dude, I can't wait to get into that museum.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah,
like, the waiting list is so goddamn long right now. But I cannot wait. It's open.
Okay.
It's open now. And the waiting list, the tickets, you have to have tickets. They're only letting so many people in at a time right now because it's still new and because people have been waiting for it for fucking 50 years.
That's probably a national landmark when people come to DC for a vacation because, we live so close we forget sometimes that DC is such a big vacation spot.
Like, when I was working in DC, man, there were so many Asians just walking around in
people
groups.
People are probably just waiting to go to that joint.
On a weekday.
Like you said, a waiting list. People probably signed up to that waiting list 2 years
ago. Yeah, they did.
Man. Just waiting to get in there. I mean, that's going to be a great exhibit to go see, man. Much
cannot
respect to
wait.
LeBron and everybody who donated to that, man. I mean, sometimes it's the simplest gestures that
make the biggest impact, right?
difference and impact.
It's a selfless thing.
I mean, what's $2.5 million on LeBron? For LeBron, it's a tax write-off. And I say that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these charities and stuff like that, I'm not going to say that they're not charitable peoples.
But he'll spend that shit on vacation, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Easy,
$2.5 million
right?
is nothing on LeBron, you know. He probably could have donated more if he had wanted to. But hey, 2.5 is it's a place to start, and
if you
it's
want
more
to
than I could
donate
have donated.
another 2.5, yo, Intelligent Idea Talkers was right there.
Intelligent Idea Talkers,
we giving you mad
always
props,
open
LeBron.
to endorsements. So,
you know what I'm saying?
LeBron James, you ever want us to endorse you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, let us know.
Throw $2.5 million our way, and you got that endorsement, my brother. You know what I mean?
We'll put your face on every podcast release we have.
We'll
It'll just be your face on
that. Doing a show from Cancun. I'll be doing a show from it was funny.
From my suite.
When it's kind of off topic, when after the election night when Trump got elected, they said the value of the peso dropped so much, and they were joking on the next day how it's weird when you think about how much the world's markets are interconnected. That when a new president, a new regime comes into power in America, it affects the currency values of other countries, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously the peso
like
stood
the
out.
Stock market
the most.
dropped
shit
that night, dude.
It's weird how interconnected all the world's economies are. I mean, if something happens in China, it affects what happens here with gas prices or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, man. But they were joking that, man, we should go down to Mexico and buy a large swath of land because the peso is so cheap right now. You know what I mean? That's funny, man.
That's actually a good ass idea.
I think the value had to go.
Dude,
up,
watch
man.
this. As soon as marijuana's legalized, man, I'm telling you, Mexico's gonna be hot again.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as marijuana's legalized, Mexico's gonna be hot again, man. Like it's gonna be popping. All right.
Mexico's gonna be popping, but I heard the smear campaign. Speaking of smear campaigns against marijuana and how it got started, it was a video, obviously from World Star. World Star, like I was saying in the message, World Star has a lot of buffoonery and coonery on there. If you sift through a lot of the videos from amateur rappers and stuff like that, you can find good stories sprinkled in there, you know, viral videos, stuff like that. They were talking about the criminalization and demonization of marijuana and how the smear campaign really got started. And it started really back in like the 1930s or 40s. And they had this kind of smear campaign going on against... smear campaign is my favorite word of the podcast, obviously, so...
Hashtag smear campaign.
So they were trying to smear the Mexicans. So they used to have Mexicans in these cartoon mural drawings. What do they call them? You know what I'm talking about? When they have like a cartoon, like a political cartoon. Yeah. What is it? Isn't that word
caricature?
For it? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But they used to have like Mexicans with the sombrero down, with the joint coming out of his mouth, talking about Adolf Hitler. With the little bubble. That
my God.
So it was like, yeah, it's like they were
Adolf Hitler.
Well, they were trying to draw up hate
they thought
for the Mexicans and...
Yo, the bubble had a swastika in it?
And B, because, you know, if the Mexicans endorse Adolf or they endorse this other person
communism,
that
right?
America doesn't like, they must be bad because they smoke weed, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So that's why the whole campaign against weed got started and how it's...
Yo, it wouldn't surprise me at all that white America back in the 30s believed that Mexicans were Nazis.
And they were talking about how, well, you know this whole story about how Hitler escaped to Mexico, or where is it, Brazil or some shit like that. Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just funny, man. They were talking about how, like, they, like in like the 1950s, whatever, 60s, when they really got a lot of these laws enacted against marijuana and everything like that, how they upped the usage and possession age, or not age, but the number of years you can be jailed for possession of marijuana from like anywhere between 2 to 8 years or some shit like that, you know? Jeez. Even though it wasn't that bad of a drug, but they needed a new way to attack
to criminalize it.
Yeah, to criminalize marijuana, to punish people, you know? Even though they know that it's not that bad of a drug, you know, as opposed to like heroin or LSD or something like that. It was funny. It was funny. You know, marijuana legalization is such a hot topic right now. You know
it is, man, because, dude, don't get me started.
States are looking for sources of money. And when you say marijuana, everybody thinks about smoking it. They have marijuana oils, lotions. You know, there are different ways to
lollipops
take the product without smoking it necessarily. You know what I mean? So,
but there's a lot of ways that are
everything.
good for your body, and there's studies released how it's a pain reliever. It fixes depression. Like it has a million uses, and you know that so part of the crops that slaves were picking were marijuana crops. It wasn't just cotton all the time. It was marijuana. It was other things. Hemp, yeah. Like that was part of what America produced, you know, and we took a big hit when we stopped producing that.
And they're saying that
switched
the real reason
paper.
they criminalize marijuana still to this day is they can't. There's no way to tax it because you can just grow it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can have these communities that just grow their own sources of marijuana, and you won't be able to tax it. You know, I don't know. I don't know why there's such a resistance to legalize it. I mean,
there's resistance because people, because it's a trend, right? So many people for so many years have hated it. The same reason why it was so long before they repealed prohibition with alcohol, right? For so many people for so long, like they were against it. They was like, okay, well, people are still doing it, right? And you have these criminal cartels that every time you make something illegal, you create a criminal cartel around it. Because humans, they find relief, right?
They're gonna get away.
They're gonna do what they want to do. They get what they want. That's what we do. That's what we've always done. And so every time they've created these cartels, and every time it's been a process to repeal it, right? It's been a long, drawn out process. It's never just, okay, fine, it's clear. But you know what? With slave Donald Trump, he could be the best president in the world to me if he was like, all right, decriminalization of marijuana everywhere.
Does he have that power? Isn't that up to the states?
He could decriminalize it. He could decriminalize it.
From a federal level?
I think so, yeah. Because it's federally, because that's the tricky part, right? So it's legal in California for recreation, and it's legal in Colorado, and it's legal in Massachusetts, and right now they're working on it in Texas. But it's still federally illegal.
I know this
and that's the only counter, right?
I know this is
federal law
from,
always takes over state law.
It's a long way from Muhammad Ali and LeBron James we started talking about, but you know that was just a quick little point to go throw in there. You know,
I told you, man, don't get me started.
We didn't script anything for this particular cast, so we're just kind of letting the conversation flow. And but that was a really cool thing LeBron James did. Much shout out to him. Muhammad Ali exhibit at the Museum of
Rest in peace, Muhammad Ali.
Black History, Smithsonian, Washington D.C. Check it out, man. It's going to be opening up soon. It should be anyway. But yeah, I mean, marijuana, man, there's no way to tax it. Yeah, I don't know if he has that power to just totally decriminalize it. Even going back to the NFL, we have a left tackle for the Redskins named Trent Williams. I've heard reports that a large number of the NFL smokes weed. You know, obviously because of the medicinal purpose of it. It's a pain reliever. A lot of these guys, that's why they're always getting busted for steroid use and human growth hormone use, HGH and stuff like that, because they get injured and they need ways to heal their bodies quickly because they don't get paid if they don't play. You know what I mean? So you have to be there on the field. If you're not on the field, you miss 10 games with an injury. The next year they're going to say, well, he missed 10 games. We won anyway. We're not going to sign him. You know what I mean? So you have to play for your future, you know? And there was we had a left tackle that missed a drug test. He got busted for smoking weed before by the NFL because they randomly drug test you or something like that. So he's in the drug protocol. So he gets randomly tested now.
Damn.
And I guess he missed a test date, which is the same as failing a test date. So they suspended him for 4 games. He's going to lose out on $1.6 million over these 4 games. Because you know the NFL players get paid after every game. So after every Monday they show up to work, they get paid.
Factor in that, man. Like that's not going to help your performance, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It's not a performance enhancer. And you know, a fighter.
It's not like taking a steroid.
I forgot the fighter's name. MMA fighter got suspended. He put him. No, he got expelled from the MMA league, the UFC. He got suspended or expelled from the UFC for having marijuana in the system. And it's not a performance enhancing drug
at all.
It's not.
I don't understand what somebody called up to a radio station I listened to and they made a good point. They said, why do they allow these guys to shoot themselves up with all types of painkillers and medications that they can get from a pharmacy, but not take something that's natural that people do anyway that's been proven to be legal in some states? You know what I mean? It's so obviously it's not an enhancer. It's not a depressant. It's it's like the hypocrisy in it is so funny. And
it's blatant, and that's kind of what I think the corruption thing is about. Because that's corruption right there. Like the only reason, because logically, like they can't give us a reason why.
They can't,
right? Like you ever see that one? It was like a clip of Gary Johnson a couple years ago in a debate, and against like a lady who was like who was counter marijuana and he's pro marijuana, and she was talking about how like marijuana can give you heart attacks within 4 hours of smoking it. She said, "Yeah, it increases your chance of heart attack by four
soaking too many energy
by 4 times, right?" And then Gary Johnson, that junk, as she's talking, he's like, and he falls on the floor. He like grabs his chest and falls on the floor. And she's like, "Aha, very funny." It's like, yeah, I just smoked that junk. I'm fine, bitch. Like, it's just like it's so obvious. Like it's fine. Like this is not a problem. It's something that's been hyped up.
They were talking about the numbers. And they were saying like alcohol kills 800,000 people a year.
Yeah.
How cigarettes kill 2 million people a year, whatever.
So many people.
And marijuana-related deaths are like damn near close to 0. You know what I mean? So there's no intoxication factor. You don't get impaired off of marijuana the way you do, say, alcohol. So why alcohol legal and marijuana is not? Like, why is that? Because people can grow marijuana. I can grow my own.
Right.
You don't have to sell me it. You know what I mean?
Throw them seeds in the backyard,
exactly.
and 2 weeks later you have a plant.
And that's what it is. It's all corporate interest and business interest, and there's no real medical reason or even economic reason why they shouldn't legalize it. Just legalize it and be done with it, and let people that want to use it use it. You're still going to have people that don't want to use it and think it is bad. They're still going to think that.
It's only going to benefit our society, right? So it's only going to be less people in prison, which means less tax money thrown into the fucking hole.
Maybe that's why they don't want to legalize it. Less people in prison, less money for... A lot of these prisons are private owned.
That's true. That private prison industry is a son of a bitch, man.
The private prison industry.
I gotta watch it.
Hey, that prison industrial complex is a son of a bitch. I'll tell you.
Son of a bitch, man. Damn, I tell you.
That should have to be sucked to be in prison, man. Yeah. That would suck, dog. Like you know when you're at house, when you're grounded, when you're at your house for like 2 or 3 days, you're bored as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can only play the game so many times. You know, you on a YouTube or whatever. You're like, let me hit up my girl, go somewhere or something. You know what I mean?
Can't do that.
Imagine being in prison, dog. I can't go nowhere. I got to stare at these cinder blocks over here on this wall.
You better start meditating.
Damn,
to learn that astral projection.
I would read every book. I mean, what else could you do besides read and just let your imagination take you beyond the walls? You know what I mean?
That's it.
That's all you could do. You have to just...
And then trying to get butt raped. God damn it.
Steph, you got to come on the podcast. About prison anal butt rape for like... It was like 2 hours yesterday. Like,
yo, she kept bringing that shit up. I'm like, yo, let that shit go, man. God damn.
Yeah, like I'm scared now.
I get it.
Say so just have a little butt trap. That joint shoot a staple into your joint every time you go in there. Like that joint just shoot a staple in there. Oh shit.
Yo, said that anal rape chastity belt. Yeah.
That's funny.
God damn, man.
So yeah, man. Any other topics? I guess.
I was gonna say we talk about Doctor Strange, man.
Doctor Strange.
Man.
It was cool. I mean, I liked it. You know, I just saw it a couple hours ago this morning. About what? 2 weeks late now? When did it come out? 2 weeks ago? Last week?
Yeah, I think it was like 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. So
that's all a week after it came out.
I wish I just saw it in 3D. God damn it, because it was made for 3D. I mean, the way the power. The only reason I didn't see it in 3D is because we went at 9:30 in the morning and it was a matinee price. So I was like, $650. Let me get 2 tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going to see the movie for $13. You can't beat that. You know. So
yeah, it's good. Damn.
But yeah, I mean,
definitely paid like $30 for that joint.
It was made for 3D. We should have. I should have just went ahead and spent the money because the experience of it had to be better in 3D.
It was.
The way the magic was popping around his wrist, and when she took out the fans, I'm like, yo, imagine that on 3D.
Like it was a visually beautiful movie, man. Like they spared no expense. Like when she knocked him out of his body on that first,
that was cool.
Like astral projection,
that was cool.
Psychedelic trip. This thing was zooming through fucking different dimensions. Yeah. His mind, he was looking at hands of his hands. His fingers had hands on them with fingers.
That's some LSD for your ass.
Yeah, he was tripping,
he was
bro.
LSD in that joint.
Yo, he was zonked, but it was a good movie, man.
It's a cool movie, as most Marvel movies are. We just have to expect that Marvel's going to come out with good movies now. I mean, when did they ever drop a dud?
What do you think about Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange?
He was decent. I like him as an actor. Him and the black guy, he would tell Ejiofor, or so, I forget how to pronounce his name. They played in that movie 12 Years a Slave. I don't know if you ever seen that.
I never saw this show.
Benedict Cumberbatch was in there. He was a slave owner. He owned the guy Ejiofor, or I forget his character's name in there. He owned him for a little while, then sold him off to another dude. But he was great in that movie. I mean, those are two great actors right there, man. Those are two good actors.
This is their second movie together. Huh?
So I don't think this movie necessarily did them justice, because it's a superhero movie and a lot of it's kind of superficial, kind of comic booky. So there's not really a lot of deep acting skills involved in it. You know what I mean?
Like, even when he was like distraught over losing his hands, he was like, I'm angry.
Yeah.
Grr. You know, it was like,
it wasn't, you don't go that deep.
They didn't put a lot of time
emotional
into it.
As far as comic book movies
like,
go.
So my one thing with that movie, right? So the plot, like, it was kind of thin, man. Like, him learning the magic, he learned that shit in, like,
and everything was so rushed. Yeah,
everything was so fast. He learned all this shit so quickly, and it was just like the lessons were so short and concise. And
I think what that was,
he pushed him into a mountain. He came back like 5 minutes later. It was like, okay, well,
I think
fine.
Marvel is realizing what they have on their hands here with all these superhero movies, and they want to get as many superheroes into the fray and caught up to the rest of the group as possible. So Doctor Strange, we don't have time to really see his deep training. Like, this isn't Batman Begins, where
that's true. It's not all about him.
I like Batman Begins, where he went and trained with Ra's al Ghul, and you know, because it went kind of deep into it, and I like that movie. Man.
I need to rewatch the first one.
I wish they would have kind of took their time on his training, because you're right, he just knew everything all of a sudden. You know what I mean? He's reading 18 books a night, and he just knows everything. Like,
and he just remembers everything, straight up. And as soon as he grabbed the eye of Agamotto, he was like, "Oh, I know how this works.
This is how I use it." It's like everything was so fast. They don't really necessarily put that much into their first movies. Well, maybe not their first movies, but their trial movies. Like, think about like the first Hulk, or the first Captain America, or even this train.
The first Hulk with Eric Bana, that was my shit.
It was cool because it was one of the earlier superhero movies.
I think they took it too comic-y on that, Joe. Because remember
they took it comic-y enough.
Dude, remember they had the comic book screens on the transitions.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah. You're right.
Like, they had the whole comic book transition screens. And I was like, okay, that's a little corny.
So that's the joint where he fought his dad at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yo, this Bama fought a mountain in that joint. I remember his dad formed into the mountain. He grabbed the mountain, like lifted the mountain. Like, yo, that's hard.
That was cool as shit, right?
Yeah, he fought a boulder.
And then the fucking dogs came out that jump, man. Oh, that was a good movie. I have it up on my shelf. I need to rewatch it.
Cool. I'm not gonna say it, but it wasn't the highest budgeted movie. Like, it didn't have as high a budget as, say, the next Hulk. Because you can tell because they showed the Hulk more, CGI, and they had more money to spend on the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to imagine that the next Doctor Strange is going to be off the freaking chains.
It's going to be good.
And they've been doing so much hype for these Infinity Stones and this whole storyline through the Avengers, through Doctor Strange, through Iron Man movies, through Guardians of the Galaxy.
You saw the preview for the next one?
You know I want to see that shit, dog.
Bruh, that shit look crazy, man.
Who's not going to see that? We're going to see every Marvel movie that comes out. It's a lock. You're going to see it, So,
Bautista as Drax was a good ass.
He was like, "Come here."
I'm sorry. He was like, "Give me a hug."
Give me a hug. It's okay.
You just need somebody sympathetic as you.
He's like, "You're welcome." They had what's the name? Rocket with the little baby Groot on his back. I was like, "Yo, my man Groot had to come back." So yeah, I mean, of course we're gonna see that joint, man. But I think they just want to catch as many superheroes up as possible. So it's like, okay, here's Doctor Strange, here's what he can do, and here he's part of the rest of the storyline. You know what I mean?
Throw him in Pantheon.
Here's an Infinity Stone, here he's there. You know what I mean? So
what they need to do, they need to tie Thanos into this shit, right? I want them to bring Thanos in before he gets the the gauntlet, right? Before the Infinity Stone.
Remember at the end of Avengers 2, he slid his hand into the gauntlet. It didn't have any stones.
It didn't have the stones, right?
But he was like, "I'll just do it myself," or whatever.
Right.
And he looked so badass in that joke. I was like, "Yo, I cannot wait to see this dude." With that being said, when are they gonna come out with these movies? When is Infinity Wars or whatever it is? When is this? When is this coming?
2020.
Exactly. Like,
Bernie Sanders
how long do we have to wait for this to happen? Because this has been hyped up. They got all these superheroes in that. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther,
Dude, the new
Captain
Spider-Man
America,
movie.
the whole Avengers.
I'm excited for that one, man.
Did they had a preview for that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But they're just talking about it.
I'm about to say, because we missed the first preview or two. I didn't know they showed it. But yeah, I definitely, of course, I'm going to see that
be
joint,
good,
man.
man.
Of course.
Oh, God.
But he was so good for Captain America, man. He was one of the best parts of that movie.
He was.
His whole thing in there.
Just popping up in that joke? Like, yo, that made it, joke.
They are hyping the hell out of these sets of movies. I mean, is it going to be one movie? Is it going to be two movies? So Infinity War, is it going to be two movies? Because I heard certain articles said it's going to be part 1 and 2 of Infinity Wars when they actually get down everything, which would make sense because they have so many superheroes in this thing. There's so many things going on.
There was a comicsology sale on that joint, and
Thor,
I totally missed it.
And Thor, Hulk, Black Panther. I mean, you got all these superheroes, different groups. Whoever the group that Doctor Strange is with, S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, I mean, just all these different pieces that they've set in place to come together for these movies, which would make sense if they had two.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you cram everything into a 2-hour movie?
No, it'd be good if they like spread it out, you know?
Yeah, they should.
And at the same time, made it amazing.
So, like, when is this going to happen? Like, man, I need to do some research. Doctor Strange is cool, though. I love the whole magic element being added to the superhero genre because you don't really have a wizard so much. Anybody who uses magic, per se, is always like a bad guy. Like, remember at the end of the movie when he met with Thor? Did you stay for that?
Yeah. I saw that.
That was cool, though. That was funny.
He kept refilling it.
But he kept saying that
Loki.
He kept saying that Loki was the main threat. He uses magic. You know what I mean? So, like, every bad guy uses magic. So it's good to see a good guy who's actually, like, kind of on the wizard end of things. Who can
and that's kind of like
use magic
Doctor Strange's
spells.
whole angle, you know? Like, he's the guy of the Marvel Avengers. Like, it's him who uses magic. That's it.
Which would make him one of the most powerful characters in that whole universe.
And
he is. What I mean? So,
he is.
It was cool to see that, you know? It's cool to see that whole magic element be added to the whole superhero thing. We didn't just see Captain America with a shield punching somebody and doing something cool, you know. Or even Iron Man with the technology. We saw magic. It's like a supernatural element being added to it, you know.
What do you think about his cape? Like, I didn't know about his cape before.
When the hell did the cape get a mind of his own? That shit was funny when it was choking the dude up.
Yeah,
like slamming his hand on the ground.
He was like, all right, funny. You got that.
But that's what I'm saying. They rushed through this movie. They didn't explain anything about the cape.
Yeah, it's like, just a cape of levitation, but I didn't know it had a personality.
They only explained it after he was already had it on. Like, they didn't talk about it before. Did they bring it up before?
No,
yeah,
no, it was just in that box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I recognized it when it was in the case. I was like, oh, he has a cape. You know, and that was a cape, but I didn't know it had a personality. Like, they didn't explain any of that. They just said it was fickle.
So it's like a magic carpet. It's like the magic carpet off Aladdin.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that's the exact analogy. It was. So
he'll be like, go over there and get that. They're like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Yeah. Run over there. Like, oh, it's like,
no, you get it.
It was a person. Dang, but yeah, it was cool. It was a good movie. I mean, we just have to expect Marvel movies to be good. Yeah, I mean, they can drop something that nobody cares anything about, like Ant-Man. And that joint would do
that was amazing.
$8 million. I haven't seen the numbers for this movie, for Doctor Strange, man. Let me try to look them up right now. But
dude, I still can't get over how good Ant-Man was, man. Like, Ant-Man was a good-ass movie, dude. Like,
Ant-Man was good.
I slept on it. But it was hilarious. It was when I watched it, it was hilarious.
It was decent. The bar has been set so high for Marvel now, for movies like Civil War and even Captain America 2. I mean, the latest one, obviously, Civil War, was the great movie.
Yeah,
the bar is just so high for them right now. Like, so when you come out with a B-list movie, I consider Doctor Strange, even Ant-Man, like a B-lister. Like, Captain America Civil War, that's their A-list. That's top notch.
Yeah.
Even
they're not gonna skimp on that.
Even the one before that, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That was top notch. The Avengers 2, top notch. It's grade A. The B movies are kind of like Doctor Strange, Ant-Man.
But
not Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was definitely high budget.
It's an A. That's an A joint. Yeah, I don't know why.
But at the same time, it's like it's just because like Doctor Strange, they have to tie him into the rest of the continuity, right?
Might not be as well known, you know.
He's like well known in the comics.
Well, let's say it's like the Hulk, or he's not burned into people's memory banks. As like when you look at the
nobody was playing with a Doctor Strange action figure when they were kids.
You can look. Well, did I have any? I don't know. I know I had the Hulk. I had Wolverine. I had Spider-Man.
Yep, I had them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't have a Doctor Strange,
but
nope.
He fits. He fits right in. I can't wait to see his next movie. I can't wait. I'm going to see it in 3D.
He used magic though. He wasn't a mutant. It was like, he just got magic.
Yeah, like
he's like a fairy.
It would have been cool if they would have tied him in somehow with maybe kind of being a mutant for his extra memory or something like that.
So do you think is he going to be in the next Thor movie? Right.
I heard the next Thor movie is going to be like kind of I think we talked about this before. It's going to be kind of like a Planet Hulk, where the Hulk is supposed to appear in Thor's movie. Remember in Civil War? How
are they doing Planet Hulk?
Huh?
They're not doing Planet Hulk, are they?
I don't think so. But remember how in Civil War, how they said that the general was like, "Do you know where Thor and the Hulk are right now?" And they were like, "No, we don't know where they are." He was like, "Well, if I misplaced a couple of nuclear warheads, I'd be in trouble," you know.
Right.
So that ties them into being together, which makes sense that they're going to be in this movie while the Avengers.
I definitely heard it was going to be in Ragnarok.
Yeah, while Civil War was going on, they were doing this, you know. So that makes sense, and then you could tie Doctor Strange and all that.
Yeah, and give him a little bit of backstory
because he's on an astral plane and he can travel to different dimensions and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So and then you tie magic and all of that into it, and then maybe Planet Hulk. You know, they go to a different planet, a different dimension. The Hulk can survive that. You know?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, that's gonna be cool. I'm so excited for Marvel, man. I mean, what other movie moves the needle like a Marvel movie nowadays? You know what I mean? Nothing else. Like even superhero. Like
I haven't been to a movie at a movie theater since I think Civil War.
I kind of wanted to see Accountant.
I think that was it.
I kind of wanted to see The Accountant. I heard that was pretty good. Other than that, I mean, there's nothing that really struck my fancy. You know, even you know, as disappointing as Batman vs Superman was, I'm still excited for Wonder Woman and Justice League. Did they show a preview?
I'm
of Justice
excited. League? I didn't see one.
I didn't see one either. Yeah, they showed one for Civil War.
I'm waiting for what was it, Aquaman?
That Star Wars joint.
Aquaman. Oh, that Star Wars joint.
The Star Wars joint. I'm definitely going to see that. Yeah, and it kind of makes me nervous because every preview I've seen for that movie, they haven't shown one lightsaber. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
So it's not really about those guys. It's not about.
It's supposed to be about the rebels.
Yeah,
you know,
and I think the only guy that's force sensitive is like Donnie Yen, and he's like blind.
Yeah, so it's like
he doesn't have a lightsaber.
I'm still kind of nervous because all 7 Star Wars movies that they came out with before now have featured a lightsaber at some point in time.
I think Darth Vader's gonna be in it.
I did see him in there, so yeah, that's what we're talking about. Me and Mike. Maybe
I think that's it though.
Maybe he opens his lightsaber at some point where you know.
But wait a minute. But that's the thing. Like in that era, like there's no Jedi in that era. Like the only Jedi is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and
he's in hiding.
Yeah, and
or
so is
Vader,
Yoda,
or anybody who's on the dark side, you know.
Yeah, so all the dark side maybe guys.
Maybe they have guys with Force potential who weren't full Jedi. You know?
Yeah, or somebody who wasn't there when they did the onslaught in the temple or whatever.
Yeah, man, but I'm excited for that movie. I mean, every Marvel movie that comes out, you're excited for it nowadays. I mean, there's no movie that come out that you wouldn't be like, ooh, I want to see that. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man. Let me look at before we get out of here, man. Let me look at the numbers for this.
See how it brought in?
Yeah, man. There's a site, boxofficemojo.com, and they have U.S. totals. I think they have worldwide totals as well, even though sometimes release dates worldwide a little bit different. Okay, Doctor Strange is definitely number 1 in the box office right now.
As it should be.
This weekend gross, this has the 11th through the 13th, which was last weekend. So they don't have this weekend totals yet, obviously, because it's Saturday. Last week,
but the first week totals are the ones that are really heavy hitters.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's the first week. So the second week totals were 42,970,065. For a total gross of 152,952,234, which is not a terrible amount of money.
No, it's pretty good.
Most of the
that's really good. Actually,
it is, especially depending on what they. And the cool thing about watching Box Office Mojo is you can click on a movie and it'll tell you how much they spent to make the movie, or you know, like how much the budget was and stuff like that. And
no doubt they made that shit back.
Yeah, versus what it made in the movies.
That was such a visually good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when he went into the other realm to fight or face Dormammu, he didn't even fight that dude. He just annoyed him into submission.
Yeah, he did.
He annoyed the shit out of
how could you fight
astral god for how many times? He probably died 1,000,000 times in that gym before he was like, okay, look.
But how could you fight that thing though? Yeah, there's nothing you can do against that.
Probably need a Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay, so that movie.
Yeah, you can't fight Dormammu in another round.
Let me see. Doctor Strange overall gross 197,274,408. For the week, 11th through the 17th, which was this week, right? Made 185 million. The first week that it came out, the 4th through the 10th, I guess that movie came out within that week, so they're including it in that. Doctor Strange was number one. It made 239,230,813 for overall weekend gross of the first week that it came out, 251 million, and then plus the week 197 million. Yeah, it's right on par. About 400 million in total overall gross for a superhero movie. Yeah, it's right on par with the other ones. I think
what was the lowest one so far?
Even as bad as
I wonder.
Even as bad as Batman vs Superman was, that joint still made about 450, 500 million.
I need to rewatch that movie.
I do too.
I want to rewatch it because I just don't want to see.
That's the problem with YouTube nowadays. You can go on YouTube and watch all the good parts of a movie. If you go on YouTube, you can watch the fight between Batman and Superman. You can watch the chase scene where Batman was chasing the guys with the Batmobile.
Like, I recall it being pretty good, man. Like, in my mind, in my memory, I'm picking out all the good parts. But it's probably the bad parts I'm missing that are going to be the killer.
It's probably better than we think because there was such hype going into that movie.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. I went and saw it when everybody said it sucked. Mm-hmm. Then I went and saw it and I was like, it was pretty good. It wasn't that bad, guys. You know, so it's like, I think I didn't go in with the hype everybody else had.
It wasn't as good as it could have been, dog.
No, I think
it didn't knock my socks off.
My only issue was fucking Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg. He just wasn't...
It wasn't him. Fit the bill. He did not fit the character.
He was a Riddler, man.
Evil mad genius. He didn't fit that character. I mean, Lex Luthor was supposed to be evil.
But maybe in the next one he'll be better. I heard like in the next one he's supposed to be actual Luthor.
He was too jokey. Yeah. The Justice League, man, that movie looks freaking cool, man. I can't wait to. You know, even I was saying before. I mean, I was kind of cut off.
Wait, Justice League movie.
There's a Justice League movie coming out. If you go on YouTube, they got they got a trailer for it. They show everybody lined up. They show Batman, Cyborg.
What?
Did they show Flash? I think Flash is in
there. Oh wait,
yeah.
I remember the trailer when he was trying to get the Flash on his team. Is that what you're talking about?
It was on WorldStar. I think that might be part of it.
Shit.
But no, there's a trailer there where they show all of them lined up. Like Cyborg looks freaking cool. Like Batman looks the same. He looks the same as he. They didn't show Superman. I think they don't want to spoil the whole "is he dead, is he not" thing from Batman vs Superman.
Come on,
they didn't show him in the preview.
He's alive.
But yeah, they had that joint, and then they had a Wonder Woman joint right after that. So, but yeah, even as bad as that movie was, Batman vs Superman, as bad reception as that movie got, it still made money, and people were still excited for it. Mm-hmm. I'm still excited to see Justice League. I'm still excited to see Wonder Woman. I mean, it's just that whole superhero genre.
I want to see. I'm excited about Aquaman.
It gives you a chance.
Looks awesome.
It gives you a chance to relive your childhood, you know, with these characters that you grew up with in a movie format in your adult years. You know what I mean? And that just adds a level of excitement to it, man. Because when we went to see Doctor Strange, there were just as many adults in there as there were kids. I mean, there was groups of adults in there by themselves. You know what I mean?
Watching see Doctor Strange?
To see Doctor Strange. I mean,
yeah, that's a motherfucker. That's a good ass movie.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't have to be a kid thing. There are guys who grew up in the time that we grew up. You know,
well, wait a minute. 90, so I think that's the thing, right? So I remember I went to see what was it? Zootopia, right? Mm-hmm. With the kids. It was my daughter and my niece and my nephew and everybody. And I remember seeing just like adults in that joint just going to watch the movie. And I was like, and it was a good movie, right? That movie was thoroughly good. And I was just like, well, maybe it's not been so much there's kids movies anymore. Like every kids movie they have in theater is gonna have enough to make an adult enjoy the movie. It's not gonna be. They're not gonna be singing. Hold my hand and we'll skip to the.
It's not like the old school movies, Mermaid and stuff like that, where they would break into this song break every couple of scenes. You saw the preview for the next Pirates of the Caribbean joint? I want to see that joint. I want to see it. It's appealing to kids, but I want to see it,
I don't even know. That should look kind of creepy for kids.
I've seen all the other four.
That was a dead guy.
It was cool.
That was a dead man.
Although I feel like we've seen this before. I mean, wasn't the guy with the octopus beard? Wasn't he, kind of dead and all that? You know what I mean?
This is probably going to be like Davy Jones like.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that out there. Davy Jones like. I don't know. He ain't saying that.
Well, Davy Jones was the guy with the octopus beard, so he was in other movies. He's done. This guy was like, I think he was a Spanish guy. His name sounded Spanish. like a
He's a conquistador.
Yeah, something like that.
A conquistador.
Tell Jack Sparrow, death is coming for him. But I think the thing with those movies and even superhero movies is like people want to escape the monotony and the drag that is not everyday life, because a lot of people live exciting lives, especially through their family. What makes life exciting is relationships and people. You get to go out with your girl and you guys get to have a nice dinner out and a night on the town. That makes life enjoyable. But the monotonous part is going to work and having to do this thing to support your life. Most of your time in the week is, how much of your week is dedicated largely to working. You don't have time for creative endeavors.
So it's just like stretching between, you're stretching yourself reality. Between these two new parts. It's
a chance to escape reality and go enjoy something and, hang out and do something different than the norm, which is why people go see movies like Zootopia. As a group of grown-ups going to see it, let's go to the movies on Saturday night. Nothing else to do.
Let's see something completely unrelated to our common world.
I don't want to stay in the house. I worked 5 days this past week, 60, 70 hours, whatever, 40 hours. Let's get out and go see a movie.
Isn't that why we consume entertainment so much? Isn't that why people create things so much? It's like, because even in act of creation, it's an escape for you, Like when you're creating something, you're not sitting in the living room anymore. You're in this other world.
This podcast we're doing right now is an escape.
It is.
It's a chance to sit here and talk about things and issues.
Every topic we've covered, we're in that realm. Metaphorical way, I guess, but we're still in that realm. We're not sitting in my dingy basement.
Oh man, hey, we're here. We're doing Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast, episode 11, and I'm enjoying it. And this is one of my escapes. On Monday it's back to the grind, but as of right now, Saturday night. It's something we're doing, trying to get out, man. Went and seen Doctor Strange earlier. Trying to go to the gun range tomorrow.
Man,
go, man. Pop that joint off a little bit.
I'm gonna get to hold the gun tomorrow, man. Hold on, man. It's crazy.
Dang. So yeah, man. But I enjoyed the movie and all the other topics we talked about. Hey, go Trump. I was telling everybody the next day, I hope you voted Trump. People was looking at me like, fuck you just said?
D trying to start a fight there, Joe.
I'm telling you.
Someone's gonna break a bottle.
Yo, you voted Trump, right? What? Like, you want to
Yo, man, you fuck around, man. But people tripping, dude. The world, this country's getting crazy, dude. You heard about the violent acts, you hear shit like that,
people
Trump
getting stomped out for supporting Trump in public.
No, but I mean minorities, man. People are lashing against minorities. A lady got her car broken and stolen, and they left a note. After breaking into her car, stealing her purse in the mountains, while she was going on a hike, they took the time to leave a note saying, we run this country, you hijab wearing bitch, or some shit like that, right? They took time to leave a note, and she's not even fucking Muslim. She's had leukemia, and she was wearing a head wrap. But it's that's the kind of shit that's going on. Some Muslim guy got fucking firebombed on the freeway. They fucking firebombed his car on the freeway. What the fuck? It's shit like that is going on.
I was pissed. Yo, bro, I'm gonna get to work now. You know what I mean? It is crazy, man. It's scary. Especially when you got kids and they grow up in this day and age, and you said somebody's car getting firebombed on the highway. Can you imagine that shit? You got your girl, your kid in the backseat, and your car gets firebombed. Goddamn, Jesus, not everybody is evil because they look a certain way, or people's
shallow-minded stuff that's being promoted.
People's discriminations and racisms go so far. I mean, some people are discriminatory, some people are racist, and some people just go totally overboard with it and firebomb people's cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that stuff is uncalled for. Making a little side joke about white people and how uptight they are on the Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast is one thing. Going out and firebombing some guy's car, that's totally different. That's taking it to a different level. You're endangering my life then. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, that's the way, I guess that's what America is kind of built on, is racist tendencies, and, it's what this country was kind of founded on. I'm better than you. And
the ins and the outs, those people who are in, and people who are on the outcast and pushed out.
Yeah.
And then
it's
and then acted against, right?
Definitely weird, man. It's, those tendencies were always there, though. I don't think it took Donald Trump to bring them out. They were just always there.
Yeah. They were. But that's the thing. They got support now.
Mm-hmm.
They got support from the president. And they were there, yeah, but they're fucking reinforced. Damn. It's the whole thing, man.
For the rest of y'all out there, anybody listening, Walking Dead tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Be there, be square.
God damn, what am I like? I'm like 3 episodes behind.
I had to drop that Walking Dead plug right there. You know what I mean? But
I'm gonna catch up.
Yeah, it's all good, man. You know, I'm glad we sat back down, man, for another cast, man.
Yeah, man. 11, man. It's been so fucking long.
It's been too long, man. Too long, man.
Wait, episode 11 at 11 p.m. right now.
Hey,
that's what it is right there.
That, you know, that's some perfect time. Episode 11 at 11.
You know what I'm saying? 11.
Yeah, 11, and 11 seconds.
9, 10, 11.
And count to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Once again, man. Hopefully, we'll be back sooner than later.
Yeah, we'll be back soon.
Yeah, definitely, man. I wouldn't even say hopefully, man. We'll definitely be back sooner than later.
You know what I'm saying? So look out.
Look out for that. Look out for episode 12 coming at you. Hey, man, and once again, thanks for joining us. Hope everything was enjoyable. Any comments you want to drop? People listening to, if you're listening to this,
comments, like, subscribe. You know,
always open to suggestions for different ideas and topics to cover. You know, would hate to be sounding repetitive or anything like that.
And if you disagree, drop a comment. And if you agree, drop a comment.
Any great debate that was ever started in human history has never been started with everybody totally agreeing. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be disagreements.
I thought you were going to say you're going to start with the YouTube comment. But you know what?
Well,
that too.
You know, you have to disagree.
Every great debate in America since the invention of YouTube has started with YouTube comment with somebody disagreeing.
You'll never agree with something and then be like, oh yeah, well this and this. You know what I mean? Like, when you disagree, you bring out different ideas and opinions and topics. So we love disagreements in comments on YouTube.
As long as they're constructive. Don't be an asshole.
You can be an asshole. I will respond to a different asshole comment. You know what I mean?
Be an asshole for now.
Yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Once again, I'm your host, Dee.
This is Juice.
Signing off.
Peace.
Out.